Hello, it's Mac, and today we're in Washington, D.C. at the United States Botanical Gardens. This is going to be a beautiful walkthrough, guys. Just come along, let's go and see everything that's here at this beautiful garden. This is a low holly. It's American holly, but it is a ground covering form, very low. It's beautiful dwarf American holly. I haven't seen this one very often. Now, this is a plant that is very common in American marshlands, swamp. This plant thrives in underdeveloped areas, abandoned lots and things of that sort, but also in swamp areas as well as some dry areas. This garden is focused on showing and highlighting native plants. This is a Virginia pine. It's a low Virginia pine. And this whole section is dedicated to native plants. We're coming to a slightly more formal section of the garden here. Now here is a hybrid tea. Now this section again has been allowed to grow in a more natural state. Geranium, Roxanne, it's beautiful. Reblooming geranium. Now here you see a lot of hybrid perpetual roses, so a lot of hybrid teas here in the United States. More than the English rose, I see a lot of hybrid teas here. These are roses of the Mid-Atlantic. The rose is a national flora emblem of one of the nation's most popular gardens, the Rose Garden here. So continue on around the Rose Garden. You can see again, most of these roses are hybrid teas. This is a beautiful rose, white sunset. It's a shrub rose, white sunset. Here's a floribunda, just blooming in front of these hedges. It's a shrub rose, quietness. It's a beautiful rose here. Pink. And it's fragrant as well. Now the benefit of this planting style is that you have the salvias here growing up with the roses just poking up out of the salvias. And this is a nice way to plant. You can plant the salvias in mass and then just intersperse the roses for companions. There's a small rose here. Now this is a beautiful little purple rose, and I don't see this one very often. I don't see the name for it, but it's a beautiful little violet purple colored rose. Here's a beautiful rose. This is Rosa Top Gun. It's trademarked. It appears to be like a knockout rose, but it may be in that same family. But these roses are very resilient. They don't need deadhead to continue to bloom. It's a rose that's been developed here and is extremely popular in the United States. Again, the United States does grow more hybrid teas than what you'll get in your English gardens, which will be predominantly English roses. Here's a Rosa Carefree Beauty. You can see that as a 5-petaled pink rose. It's a little more than 5, maybe 11 petals. Pink rose that's gone over now, but still very beautiful. So this garden, rose garden, is beautiful. Here's a large leaf geranium. And of course there's the green mountain boxwoods behind this that is hedged around this entire flower garden here. It's a low rose, Blithe Spirit. It's a nice white rose. And here's another white rose. This is still in bloom. This is Rosa Mary Washington. There are buds on this, so this rose will continue to bloom for quite some time. Here's a knockout rose, again, very common rose in the United States. This rose garden has been allowed to be more free-form than many I've seen recently. There are salvias planted here, beautiful roses, and nice undergrowing plants. There is also milkweeds and native plants also growing here. Lantana below the roses, which is a great low cover. Keep those roses legs covered up. So that's also beautiful. But this garden clearly has a more naturalistic appearance to it. Even though the beds are formally designed, the flowers have been allowed to grow and lay however they may. Even though the beds are more formally designed, the flowers have been allowed to grow freely and to fully express themselves. Here's a beautiful companion plants for roses, which is lantana and also salvias. And I do believe these larger plants here are a form of milkweed. Milkweed is very common with butterflies, and I see a lot of butterflies around these plants. The overall theme of this garden clearly is native plants. And here is a monarch butterfly, a very common butterfly in the United States. And here's a beautiful rose, Rosa Autumn Damask. It's extremely thorny. Rarely have I seen roses with as many thorns. Roses do grow better when planted with companions. A diverse set of companion plants would include salvias, marigolds, lantanas, and numerous other plants. It's a beautiful bed of peppers. I've never seen this before, but this entire bed is just multiple varieties of peppers. From jalapeno to what appears to be back here, even some habanero peppers. And there's even red habanero peppers, to include even bell peppers and poblano peppers. The flower beds directly in front of the conservatory are in a more managed state. Here are some beautiful anemones. These are clearly maintained at a higher standard than the more naturalistic beds in the side garden of the National Botanical Garden here in Washington, D.C. Now, these are beautiful flowers. You only see them, I know them as spider plants. I'll look at their real name, but you only see them in the fall or in the spring. Other than that, you don't see them at all. They only come up at once a year, and it's just this beautiful bloom, and they're there for a few weeks, and then they disappear back underground again. They're a beautiful bowl to have. You're always surprised when they do arrive every year. It's a beautiful hollyhock. And there's a wonderful zinnia, jazzy red with that red interior and the yellow halation around the outside. It's this beautiful color combination in that plant. And these berries fading from purple to pink. Beautiful. And there's a rosa green ice, which is a very unique green colored rose petal. Some are green and some are pinkish, but those green ones are really a unique color, green ice. And these are the flowers that are planted directly in front of the United States Botanical Garden. These are really beautiful. Let's continue on and see what else is here. There is a whole nother side of this flower garden that we will go view next. Now that is a magnificent coleus with that burgundy color sitting there amongst all of the green flowers with the variegated cannas behind it. With the variegated cannas behind it and in front. Wonderful color mixtures. Here's lemongrass, taro, commonly known as elephant here in the U.S. Here, beautiful citrus. We have lemons here, which are really large lemons. They're still green. They're not quite ripe yet, but really large lemons. Eggplants. Again, the entire theme around the garden this year are edible plants. Japanese snowbells, great ground cover. This is a shadier side of the garden here, so you have more of your ground covers where you'll find the snowbells, hostas, astilbes, and other wonderful shade-loving plants. There's a gim. There's a beautiful variegated phlox. And there's a taro mojito. Look at the beautiful coloration here on these wonderfully large elephant ear shaped leaves. And here is a beautiful Japanese anemone. I've seen this other places. It's a wonderful plant. I understand why they would repeat it. And a very large hosta. Here's another wonderful taro with these beautiful burgundy red stems. Canna. Multiple canna, very large and beautiful. Very large bold zinnia. Here's another section of the Botanical Garden. The Conservatory is here, and once you cross a large street, you come to this section of the Botanical Garden, which is separated. Again, this section is following a more naturalistic plant. This section also follows a naturalistic planting design. A lot of Native American plants.